Yeah! What's up, Flowers Gamers? How's it going? It's your good pal Polly here. I don't know what I'm doing there. How's it going? Welcome back to Flowers. What was that all about? I'm stupid. Anyway, how you doing? Welcome back. The last time we were together, feelings. We had all of them, and some of them pleasant, some of them not. And now we're gonna dive right back in, and we're going to, I think this is gonna be the capper. I think that this is gonna be the last couple of strings we need to tie up. I know sort of where our endings are and what we need to be doing. And don't mind me just rolling across the room for no specific reason. Just been kind of, all right. So, okay. Sorry, I just kind of got in and I'm a little disheveled, but I needed proper hydration because I'm gonna cry all the hydration in my body out, so I need to drink this amazing Arizona green tea with ginseng and honey. I'm pretty sure I've probably drank these. I'm pretty sure I've done the same bit of opening one of these at the start of a video before. Anyway, it's almost 100 degrees outside, so let's just get into it. Let's dig into these endings. Okay, so I think I want to do 5. Okie doke. So, this one we choose Ichigo to get the ending. So who is she feeling this for? Ichigo. What are we doing? When I was young, I had a strong sense of self. That's probably why I believed I could do anything and why I was able to act in accordance with that level of competence. Schoolwork, lessons, gym, you name it. As we got older, the gap between myself and my sister only grew more obvious, and our parents started to treat us differently. Like one of us was capable and the other not. Given how dearly I loved my sister, there were 2 choices. One option would be to protect my sister, to become stronger in order to protect her from all the outrages of this world, whether within the family or outside it. It's a very decent approach, but because of my sister's gentle personality, I didn't choose that option. I could see that at some point my sister would come to resent being protected. And so the other option, the one I chose, was brought back to reality by a hand waving in front of my face. I realized I've been away with the fairies. Hey. Oh no. Scooping up my mask from the shallow pool into which it's fallen, I force a smile for my sister, who's regarding me with concern. Oh, I don't know. I'm getting bad feelings about this one. This just doesn't feel good. Like you're literally gonna throw yourself away? Sitting in my chair, I tap my toes against the floor, using the foot I sprained in front of the chapel in the werewolf of the bell tower incident. So long as I don't twist it, as I'd have to during ballet, it doesn't hurt at all. I smile back at my sister, who's sitting opposite me to eat her lunch. Way to evade the question, I guess. Yeah, it's a story that could very, very easily fall apart.
そういうこと。せっかくお姉ちゃんがうまくごまかしたんだからさ。
She grins proudly, and I force myself to keep smiling too. Seemingly reassured, my sister starts to chat happily about what happened in class today as she munches on her omelet. She explains to me how, since I was attacked by the werewolf, the animosity towards us has disappeared, and how Suo-chan had put herself forward as a candidate for the president of the student council while Ri-chan is standing for vice president. Then,
今のところみんなうまくいっているよ。不満なのはゆずりは先輩と会えないことかな。
so we're still just doing that, huh? We're still doing the old switcheroo, it sounds like. She talks around the spoon in her mouth, then, almost immediately realizing her mistake, she hurriedly flaps her hand in front of her face.
今のはリンゴが怪我したのを迷惑だとか思っているわけじゃないの。ただ、
I mean, they're not.
会えないのが寂しいな
I
ってだ
get
け。
you. I get you.
分かっています。
I say with what I hope is a comforting smile. It seems to work as she takes another spoonful of her omelet. Right. Yatsushiro-senpai. My sister has been taking my place to meet with her. Even though I'm the one who suggested it, inside I felt all the suspicion and jealousy that comes with having your lover stolen away. But what's really eating me up inside right now is...
私以上に大切なものを作るということ。どうしたのリンゴ？早く食べないと冷めちゃうよ。
Mechanically lifting a bite of omelet to my mouth, I silently questioned myself. Instead of becoming stronger in order to protect my sister, I tried to become the same as her. I thought that if I did so, I could get our parents to love us both equally. I dropped my grades to match my sister's, stopped trying in lessons, purposefully failed at sports. At first, my family was suspicious of the change, but eventually they figured I was simply showing my true colors with age. Just another one of those child prodigies who grows into someone completely ordinary. Having lost interest in us, our parents shipped us off to live with our paternal grandmother. I didn't feel particularly emotional about it though. Man, why is all the parents just shipping their children somewhere to just get rid of them? No wonder every child in this story feels terrible all the time. Our parents freaking hate us. After all, while I'd been happy, if they'd showed both of us equal amounts of love, I was loath to be the only one receiving any. It was like my grandmother once said, no matter how delicious it is, food eaten in front of a starving pauper will never taste good.
あんまり美味しそうじゃないね。
That's pretty good.
気分じゃなかった。
Your grandma's pretty deep.
そうじゃないんです。部屋にこもりきりだから食事の時間楽しむために時間をたっぷりかけているんですよ。リンゴは子供だな。それじゃ私の分もあげるよ。
More omelet for you! She holds out a spoonful of omelet to me, and I obediently eat it. My sister seems satisfied.
いちご姉はいつまでも私のお姉ちゃんなんですよね。何言ってんの？当たり前じゃん。
Yeah, I mean, that's just logically how it works. Seeing her innocent smile, I feel envious of the fact that she's shown that smile to someone other than me.
この嫉妬は
I'm hesitant to explore the feeling further because I know that I stare down at the chicken rice, flavored with tomato sauce and consomme that was hidden beneath the omelet. Stripped of its eggy shroud, it looks like a completely different meal. I peel back a single layer, and an entirely different emotion is laid bare.
いつまで私は嘘を抱えるのだろう。
I ask myself, how long can I continue to hide these feelings as they slowly grow in solidity? No matter how well you try to hide a lie, it will come to light. It doesn't care how much effort you make. The truth will come a-knocking. Hey! How's it going, Truth? Come on in. I realize that the time's arrived when she comes calling in the middle of the night.
話があるんだ。
Oh, is this the breakup scene? She doesn't even need to say it. Her demeanor tells me everything. The figure of my sister hovering behind her only confirms it. Oh.
ごめんね。
Okay, so we're getting the aftermath of this.
ゆずりは先輩にあのことを。
How we'd been switching places, but that much was already obvious. Rather,
すみませんでした。欺こうと思っていたわけではないんです。これは分かっている。いちごくんのことを僕はすでに許している。
Yatsushiro Senpai pauses for a breath, gazing around the room as though looking for some kind of sign.
僕も覚悟を決めた。リンゴ。君も決断しなければならない時に来ているんじゃないか。
Oh, this is a little different. She asks me, forcing me to face the truth I want to avoid.
彼女へ告白すると決めたのですね。 君とのデートは幸せな時間だった。
The candle she holds for Narine Kamikado. She must finally have found the resolve to change their relationship. Upon hearing that she's leaving me for someone else,
なぜだろう。
Oh. Some part of me is relieved.
入れ替わりのことを私が言い出したんです。
Oh.
だから私のことはいいからリンゴのことは。いちごくん、それは。妹は本当にゆずりは先輩のことが好きで、だから嫌いにならないでください。
Yatsushiro Senpai shakes her head as my sister clutches her arm, pleading with her. She says that she couldn't possibly hate me.
君たちのやったことで嫌いになっただとか、好きな気持ちが陰ったわけじゃない。僕が自分勝手でエゴイスティックなだけなんだ。
I put my arm around my sister's shoulders, telling her it's okay. She looks up at Yatsushiro Senpai with tears in her eyes.
私がそうであるように、ゆずりは先輩も大事な人がいることに気づいたんです。いえ、気づかないようにしていることに。
It was really fun, though. You two made a really, really cute couple.
リンゴ。
Yuzuriha Senpai gently pats our heads in turn.
信じてくれないと思うけど、きっと
Oh.
そういう返事が返ってくるだろうと思っていたよ。
With that, she leaves the room. My sister looks so lonely and forlorn as she stares at Yatsushiro Senpai. Without a moment's hesitation, I hug her. Oh. Oh.
私が無理を言ったから。そうじゃないんです。私はお姉ちゃんなのに。
Hugging her tightly, I tell her it's okay. She's shivering and her body is so hot in my arms, she feels feverish.
きっとゆずりは先輩が言い出していなかったとしても、
Aww.
私の方から別れを口にしていました。
She blinks at me with tear-wet eyes. It makes me unbearably happy that those big round eyes are looking only at me. These emotions I hold inside,
私は
I could never let them rise to the surface, but
私は嫉妬していたんです。ゆずりは先輩と私が会っていることに。
well, I mean, kind of, but I don't think this is. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh dear. I give a barely perceptible nod. Her eyelashes flutter and my heart does the same.
そうだけど、それだけじゃないです。初めは私だけのゆずりは先輩で亡くなることが嫌なんだって思ってました。でも
I opened the lid on my emotions, the words climbing out of my throat.
長くゆずりは先輩のように長く時間はかかったけれどそうではないと分かったんです。ゆずりは先輩だったことに。
Because like she's taking her little sister away. Well, her big sister, but you get what I mean. Blinking at me in confusion, she asks me why. I plunge on as though Yatsushiro Senpai's earlier words about making up her mind gave me the push I needed.
私は
Aww.
いちご姉と仲良くしているゆずりは先輩に。
I mean, they're always together, so I mean, but you're gonna have to grow out of that at some point. I get it. You know, the twins are obviously going to have a connection to one another in this way. It's going to be a pretty intense bond, I imagine. So, like, when somebody else kind of takes that away from you, yeah, these two need to kind of like learn to be away from one another, I think, is kind of the thing that I'm seeing here. And I don't know that we're getting there from here.
一番理解していて一番好きなのに。 なんで私が相手じゃないのかって。
I know where we're going. Oh boy. My true feelings that I've kept hidden away inside. The sense that half of me was being stripped away when I thought that my sister was becoming someone else's. The fear that rushes in after I revealed what was meant to be kept hidden drags my head down so that I can't look her in the eye. All I know right now is that in the heat of her body and the loud thump of her own heart. She wraps her arms around my back and returns my embrace. I stare at her, shocked that she hasn't immediately pushed me away. Oh boy.
私も初めゆずりは先輩を取られたって気持ちはあったけどゆずりは先輩にリンゴを取られたって気持ちもあったんだ。ずっと私を守ってくれてたんだもんね。
At her whispered words, the dam within me crumbles and hot tears rush to my eyes, spilling down my cheeks. My sister, my beloved sister. She hugs me ever so tightly. As the tears fall, I think back to how I'd felt before, that being with my sister had caused me to lose my sense of self, the core of who I was. But that wasn't the case. I was the one who arbitrarily decided it was lost, who just assumed it had disappeared when my sister, Ichigo Sasaki, is and always has been my core. She's the one who's been beside me all this time and who I can never ever lose. Well, I don't know where I don't know where I stand on that one. I don't think this helps either of them. I don't think that this is an ending where either of them like make the progress they need to be the separate, strong individual people they need to be. It feels like a regression. Yeah, I'll say it. I don't think this ending's good. I don't like this ending. This is like one misfire in what, the almost 60 hours or so we've been playing so far. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that one, I guess. It just, again, the word I keep coming back to here is like, I just feel like that's a complete regression of where these two characters need to go. Like, this whole story feels like it was... He was pointing out that, like, these are two people that need to be seen as individuals. I feel like that's the whole reason that Yuzuriha and Ringo's relationship worked, is because for the first time, these are people seeing them as who they are. You know, two people seeing each other as who they really are. And that's big progress. Even if they can't be together in the end, they still got something out of that that was very valuable. But this does not, this one, I don't know. This one doesn't work for me. Nah, no thank you. I always hate being down on something, especially being down on a series that I'm really actually loving, but not here for this particular ending. But that, again, that's fine. That's one ending out of the whole multitude of endings that we've seen so far, and you know, being kind of about an ending, one ending in many that we've had in like 60 hours of reading. I'm okay with that. Oh, we got more. The seasons flow on, slow and seamless. Gentle autumn becomes cruel winter. This winter climate seems like it might have warranted a clearer mark of transition, but it was like the lights dimming in a movie theater. There was no obvious discernible shift. And it's been the same for us. Yo, what up? Is that honesty knocking again? Is this the truth? The truth sounds an awful lot like Ichigo. Although Yuzuriha Senpai did give me a kick in the butt, just not good at mental games. Gotta psych your opponent out more. You gotta bluff more. Come on, girl. Oh, she's one of those people. Yeah, there are absolutely people that I've played this with where you can see what they're going for when they hit their hand the second time because they've already put it out. If you are that, like, if you can catch it, you can easily change your, what you're gonna shoot. I've absolutely done this before. That is a cute little thing to point out. Yeah, you literally show your hand. Literally guarantee she's doing it from the start. Like, she's gonna throw scissors. She's just got her hand already in the scissors and it's just hitting her other palm. Oh, what an adorable little Dumbo. I love her so much. Our relationship hasn't really changed. My sister thumps the table, huffing dramatically. She declares with a grin. If we're talking things that have changed. Having found her answer, she left the academy together with Nerine Komikado. Aww, that's nice. Several of her classmates also... What? My heart aches to think of... Why did everybody else quit? What did they have to do with it? Then... It's starting to feel like everybody's like... Again, it feels like everything and everybody is regressing in some way. Like everybody's like regressing away from like being communal and being around each other. Like we're all just... Or maybe they're being more intimate in their rooms. I don't know. It feels weird. I mean, that's true. Like those two absolutely just kind of like being by themselves. Another thing that hasn't changed ever since my sprain is healed, I've continued with the habit of having Ichigo bring lunch to our room. Love me some clams, my guy! Like, I'm so ready to eat! My sister frowns, commenting that our grandma taught us that. jeez. Ah.
意地悪ですね。
You're so mean for being so right on the money. These days we can joke about topics we previously would have avoided.
あった、そうだ。リンゴ、食事の前にちゃんと用意してくれた？入れておきましたですよ。
I pour her a cup of the coffee I prepared in advance. She never drank it black before, but it seems she developed a liking for it while we were trading places. A parting gift from Yatsushiro-senpai, I suppose.
正直、パスタにコーヒーは合わないと思いますよ。どんな料理にもコーヒーは合うよ。そうですかね。エリカならきっとこう言うよ。食事にコーヒーは欠かせないものだ。さながら海賊とラム酒のよう。
Even throwing on the, throwing on her voice for a little bit of an impression there. She imitates Erika, who we recently patched things up with, and I can't help but laugh at how spot on her impression is. Hearing me laugh, she smiles back.
それじゃあいただくとしましょう。
Itadakimasu!
あ、ちょっと待って。
I tilt my head up as she stops me.
八重垣ちゃんなら料理は温かい
That's a good point. Don't be interrupting my narfing this thing down. These are really good. These look so good.
そうじゃなくて、食事の前の
Say grace? Oh, like no. There's this no. No. I don't. Um.
いつもの約束忘れたらやだよ。
I'm gonna just drink my tea.
ボンゴレを食べた後で思い出したらガーリックの匂いが気になりますものね。 ゆずりは先輩、あなたに教えられたように私は大好きな姉さんとゆっくり大人になっていこうと思います。
I'm not gonna harp on it. That again, that just it feels like a complete regression. It feels like just kind of toxic too. Just I don't. Yeah, not here for that. That ain't my not my bag. Not something we wanna. No, that's just, man, you know, I did not think we were gonna go there for a bit, and then we went there, and yep. Okay, all right, well, we're just gonna move on. Next ending is up. So this is where I'm pretty sure this is where Yuzuriha is going to decide like who she wants to be with, and we've already done Nerine Komikado, which got us the Nerine ending, which was pretty melancholy and rough in a lot of ways itself. But okay. Closing my eyes, I take a moment to listen to both voices before opening them again. All I see before me is Ringo. Nothing else. I'd always thought she was an odd girl. She's not the kind of girl everyone would agree is beautiful, like Narine Komikado or Suo Shirahane. But as I gaze intently at her, I feel as though a pebble has been tossed into the deep pool of my heart. It sinks down to the deepest reaches of the pool where no one, not even me, might get to it, no matter how hard they try. No one except her. That's where Ringo Sasaki's beauty, her virtue lies.
だから私を掴んで離さない。
Oh. She, Ringo Sasaki, is the only one who's always had eyes for me alone.
譲りは先輩
Just gonna ignore that previous ending, however. Facing her fully, I tell her I've made up my mind.
僕は今まで心の奥底で迷っていた。このままでいいのか、ただ流されていただけじゃないのかな。
Each of their approaches to romance are unique. Ringo must have felt that. She looks down.
僕自身楽な方へと流されることを良しとした。だがそいつはダメだ。自分自身にとっても相手にとっても互いに損なわせてしまう行為だ。リンゴはずっとゆずりは先輩を好きだって思っていたんです。
Oh, she cares so much. She just wants her sister to be happy. Oh. I pat Ichigo-kun's head as she tries desperately to put in a good word for her sister. Then I tell her I get it.
誰にでもいい顔なんてできない。僕は決断したんだ。
Removing my hand from Ichigo-kun's hair, I take Ringo's small, warm hand in mine.
僕は
Oh.
佐々木リンゴを選ぶ。そう決めた。
She blinks at me like she can't quite get her head around what's happening.
いちごくんの言う通りだ。ずっと僕だけを見ていてくれたのは君だけだった。私と一緒に選んでくれたのですか。今までと同じように僕と共にいてくれるか。
Her answer comes out not in words, but in actions. She presses her lithe, warm body against me. I can hear her quiet sobs as she weeps. No,
泣いているのは
guess I'm the one who's crying.
私の方か。
My own tears rained down the back of my hand. I'd started crying without even realizing it. One season is coming to an end, but I can feel the new one now beginning. Oh. Before I knock on the door, I'm distracted by the window and turn to look out at the sunset-stained sky. While the season is undeniably winter, sunsets always remind me of summer. In my memories, they always come as a pair. From between the bare branches of the trees, I spy a vermilion cloud, the shape of a cat. The clouds are all perfectly still, like they've been pinned to the sky. The way they hang stubbornly in place reminds me of the girl I'm about to meet with.
猫の君。
Not a cloud cat, but a human one! Forcing my cynical smile to my face, I knock on the door of her room. As they invite me in, I apologize to both Yaigaki-kun and Takasaki for interrupting their leisurely Sabbath.
本を読んでいただけなので気になさらないでください。別におかしなことをしちゃいませんでしたよ。
I can't help but smile at her usual banter. Takasaki-kun ignores her and goes to get me a coffee.
ありがとう。保温ポットに入れておきましたけど、少し冷めているかもしれません。ちょうどいい。僕は猫舌なんだ。
Yaigaki-kun protests that she's got that patent on lockdown. The coffee is a little cold, but I don't care. You ask me, it's just bitter bean juice anyway.
僕に飲み物を勧めてくれる好意が嬉しい。どうしたんですか？秋だからね。メランコリックな気分になっているのさ。もう冬ですよ。
I chuckle agreeably. Guess I'm feeling a little subpar, like my inner clock is ever so slightly out of sync.
それで何の用なんですか？不詳の後輩の顔を眺めに来たわけでもないでしょ。
We will always be happy to gaze upon the countenance of our lovely little cat girl.
君たちと話したくなっただけだよ。ただのよもやま話をしに。まるで友達みたいだろ。
Yeah. Her expression clouds over. I tell her that I came after lunch too, but I came by after lunch too, but they were out.
お昼を取った後、視聴覚室で映画を見ていたんです。白羽とバスキア教諭も誘ってね。
Wow.
オールスターだ。
Yeah, I was about to say, that's a pretty all-star lineup.
誘ってくれなかったんだ。
Oh, she pouting. She big pouting.
先輩合唱部の練習だったでしょ。そんなの理由にならない。
Takusaki-kun stifles a laugh at my objection.
花火師さんもずいぶん拗ねていたわ。今の八代先輩みたいに。
I can imagine it. She wouldn't want to miss out on a single precious opportunity to watch a movie with Suo-kun. I asked them what they watched. Oh, hang him high. Yeah, that feels like a Suo pick. The title hits hard, reminding me that I'd gone back on my promise to Oh! Whoa! In this continuity, she just doesn't. Okay. So, Staying with Ringo is the easy choice, I guess. It's the harder choice than confronting what you really need to confront with Nerine. So obviously she's not like going, she's not putting her best self out here, and she like reneged. Hang him high. I force a measured smile to my face that she can interpret however she likes. I would say that's the case for most of the girls that we've met in this series. Their tastes for media skews pretty old, despite the fact that this series seems to take place somewhere around like 2014, 2016.
エリカもゲイリー・クーパーが好きじゃない。私の最も好きな映画は真昼の決闘で、その時のゲイリー・クーパーは老齢だったけどな。でも年を取った時の方が好きだったんでしょ？
She shrugs, seemingly without a comeback, and I chuckle.
年を取ったで思い出した。昔から疑問に思ったことがあるんだが、高名な小説家の著者禁煙はなぜ老齢になってからの？
Because you look more wise when you're old.
そう言われてみればそうですよね。別に若い時の写真を使って。
Although I think that's changed in recent years, because I see more pictures of people in books from when they're younger these days. So maybe that's like a recent trend.
だろう？幼い頃はあの人たちはああいう風にポンと生まれてきたのかと思っていたよ。
We all giggle. Just a casual evening shooting the breeze with friends. But then a moment later, Takusaki-kun straightens her posture and turns to me.
八代先輩、きちんと選べたみたいですね。
Oh. Her words contributed greatly to my decision. You can't please everyone. She was absolutely right.
何の話だ？私と八代先輩だけの秘密の話よ。
Damn, get dumpstered, Erica. Yagaki-kun folds her arms, looking unimpressed. I look between the two of them with a faint smile.
君に相談してよかった。話してなかったら、僕はいつまでも同じところをぐるぐる回っているだけだったろ。よかったです。
She responds brightly and I nod.
本当にそれでよかったんですか？
The cat speaks up.
ちょっと何を言うの？何の話をしてるかさっぱりだけどな。要はすべて子供なし。
Yeah, there's definitely some not right with the world. I can't argue against her observation. Ringo Sasaki lives in my inner room. But deep within my heart, there's another woman who I just can't evict. Yagaki-kun's eyes are peering intently into my room.
八代先輩がそれでいいなら構やしませんがね。エリカ、今までの経験則から学んだことですが、本当に大切なことは痛みと引き換えでないと。
Yeah, that tracks.
耐えている痛みは必要なことだったのか、それとも。
Having looked inside me and spied my hidden wounds, she cuts herself off and looks down, apologizing for her insensitivity.
構わない。ただ高崎くんにお礼が言いたかったんだ。
I take a drink of my cold coffee. Somehow it tastes even more bitter this time, perhaps because of the way my inner self has just been exposed. Whatever the situation, it's up to you. Whether or not you're able to laugh it off all depends on how you feel. My father's words suddenly come to mind.
そうだ。八重垣くんも父も。
As happens whenever I make any kind of decision, I know that there's still a part of me that's wavering. I down the rest of the astringent liquid. The season turns again, and spring is here. Spring always passes by in the blink of an eye. The cherry blossom buds swell until their petals finally unfurl, coaxed into bloom by the warm rays of the sun. The sweet little flowers lift everyone's spirit until one night of rain scatters them in the wind and they're gone. The new term begins, bringing with it new students. It all rushes by in a blur. But I'm still standing still, like that cat-shaped cloud that I saw on that one winter's day, metaphorically stuck in place. During a nap, I dream. I'm one of those people who can be aware that they're dreaming even while they're in a dream. In my dream, I'm with my father, my mother, my brother, and Nerine. We're on a wide plateau with a clear view of the horizon. My father holds a camera and wears an open smile with no trace of cynicism. My mother stands there cheerfully, despite usually detesting having her photo taken. My little brother fawns over my mother, demanding her attention as she poses for photos. Holding hands, Nettie and I laugh together as I watch my happy little family. My heart feels so light. It's like all traces of negativity have been vanquished. I murmur as I look down at myself, laughing with the others. The dream shows everything I desire, to smile and laugh together with my family and with Nerine. I smile sardonically at the thought that all I want is the same simple happiness as anyone else. I call out to my smiling self directly below. No matter how much you want it, you'll never even get close to your ideal. Her idealistic smile wavers like a pebble dropped into the still surface of a lake, a tiny, almost imperceptible tremor spreading slowly outward. In my dream, gradually but surely, I see my expression change. As I watch my smile slowly fade, I'm filled with an unspeakable sense of fear and desolation. Suddenly, the self I look down upon is struck by a piercing cold. Looking sluggishly around for the source, I look up at myself. The dream ends with the realization my heart is but an empty void. Oh, oh, oh. When I awake from the dream, I feel that the shade of the light and the scent of the air around me is ever so slightly different. I sense it as I take a deep, quiet breath. The whisper from above my head tells me that she, Ringo Sasaki, has crawled into bed with me. I hadn't even realized it.
首で涙が出ただけさ。それよりもベッドには潜り込まないように言ったはずじゃないか。
Finding trails of moisture on my cheek, I wiped them away with a finger. She wrapped her arms around me, cradling my head. It's like she was watching my dream, too. It is comforting, the feel of her soft, lithe torso against my cheek, her warmth seeping into my body, her unique, girlish scent on my nostrils. She delicately caresses my face like a musician dancing her fingers across the keys of a piano. Trying to understand me. I'm such an idiot. This is the first time I've really thought about the desire to know the person you love. I'm always being confronted by her. But have I ever sought to truly know Ringo Sasaki? Oh. She's so pure and innocent and full of love. I listen to her soft voice. In my right ear, Takasaki-kun whispers, "You can't please everyone." In my left ear, I hear my father's voice. "Whatever the situation, it's up to you. Whether or not you're able to laugh it off all depends on how you feel." Enveloped in Ringo's scent, I nod my head. They're right. Then... Yep. Way to bring that back around. Yagaki-kun's words spill from my lips. I silently thank her. Oh. She smiles tearfully at me, and unbidden tears escape my own eyes as I hug her tightly. My flowing tears wash away my ideals, as well as the figure of Narine Komikado I've kept stowed away deep within my heart. It hurts. This is the price I must pay to have Ringo Sasaki. As I feel the solid warmth of her body in my arms, the pain rips open and exposes the deepest parts of me. Birds sing outside the window. As spring moves on, I pray to God that I can always be with Ringo. Oh. It's hard not to like that one, but maybe I'm just biased because I just really like Ringo a lot and want her to be happy and think that they still make a really good pair. So I guess I can kind of I feel like I've kind of done a pretty good job of pointing out my thoughts on this game as a whole so far. But to kind of I guess summarize some of it. This is when we first met Erica in spring, she was the character I really wanted to identify with. Like I am aloof, I'm distant, I may be a little haughty for my own good. I maybe keep people at a distance in a way that she does. And I got more of that through the summer chapters, and I still felt like I absolutely I related to her a lot. I understood and even as the way that she started to open up to people is the same way that I have experienced those sort of things too. What I did not expect was to come into this game and to be in the head of Yuzuriha and suddenly feel like every single inner monologue was a targeted and directed attack on me. There are so many ways in which I think that, this is absolutely the most complex character study of the series, I think. Narine, Yuzuriha, and Ringo are just a trinity of characters that have so much density to what they are doing with this storytelling, and the way the stories like weave together, and kind of where everybody ends up by the end of it, and the decisions they have to make, the ways they have to face up to themselves, and all of that. But the stuff with Yuzuriha and the way that, you know, people say things, and like, you know, about her being, you know, this androgynous beauty, or, you know, like her being a prince and stuff, like those things, the way they cut her really deeply are the same way that I can end up being hurt, because I find that I wear a lot of similar masks, or I wear masks in a way that she does sometimes, where it's really hard to want to put your real self out there sometimes, whether for your own sake or whether for other people's. And I also think that while not a trans character herself, I feel like Yuzuriha's story and what they're doing with her is very trans adjacent in the ways that she has to hide her true self. It's very similar to when somebody is not out and they can't be out, and you have to wear a mask that is not yourself. And all of that is just, you could write, you could literally have like a 4-hour character study on Yuzuriha entirely, because she's got so much going on. And again, it's just all of that I ended up relating to a lot more. I guess it's just to kind of like wrap that up. It's just that I absolutely relate to what's going on with her a lot. And I think she is like while Erica is my favorite character overall, in terms of a character who I will absolutely delight in always getting to see on screen, Yuzuriha is a character that I look at and go, goddamn game, did you just at me next time? You know? So, and I think that this volume overall is, man, 2 and 3 are really strong, aren't they? Summer and fall are just incredibly strong, and I think that I like Ate more as a romance, I think, because that story is actually a romance, and in terms of a relationship that builds over time, where two characters eventually come together. And I love this one as like a very nuanced and interesting character study of Yuzuriha as a whole, and just where you start when you first meet her in spring versus where you end up in this volume is just so mind-blowing to me. She is an amazing character. I don't know. I don't have any better way to put it, I guess, but those are sort of my final thoughts on Automne as a whole. But we're not done. I could sense some of you out there getting ready to scroll down to the comments section and be like, Polly, no, you forgot. I didn't forget. See, hold on. How do I do this? Hold on. We'll do the. I forgot how to. See, I see this down here. I know what's going on. See, right down here at the bottom, we got an extra. Remember how we got an extra scene at the end of the last one? Looks like completing all of the endings gave us another one of those. So let's just dive on in. I don't know what you do at this point, but we're diving in. Let's go. Stop texting me. I'm not coming in. The Tulpa of Agape. As she speaks those words, giving up the name of the key I've been seeking, I felt like claws were scratching at the inside of my chest, a familiar but unwelcome feeling, like I've stepped on the tail of some repulsive creature. As I struggle to push past the loathsome feeling, Yatsushiro-senpai continues. She speaks of the statue of the Virgin Mary and of how it's stepping on a snake. I see it every morning, yet I've never noticed a snake beneath her feet. Not come back to those thoughts for a while. The tulpa of agape. Hearing those words, I taste bile. Would it be better to vomit it up or to fight to keep it down? The urge to vomit rises every time I think of my stepmother, bringing a disgusting feeling to my throat. A cold sweat stands on my forehead and drenches my body. Yatsushiro-senpai says my name. I think maybe she's concerned by the green tinge on my skin, but it seems that's not the case. She stares hard into my face, but her eyes aren't really looking at me. Her gaze is directed into the distance. Then she tells me she'll give me a farewell gift, information she gained from an incident 1 year ago. We keep coming back to that. Are we finally gonna, like, get the deets on that, maybe? Something scratches against my insides again, bringing with it another wave of revulsion. I ask her what that information might be. I hear her voice as though from far, far away. Almost in proportion, I feel the shadow of Mayuri Kosaka draw closer. Yes, Yatsushiro-senpai is still gazing at me with eyes that seem directed to something far off, but terribly important. In the brief moment before I can form any words, I become cognizant of the deep silence surrounding us, as though we were at the bottom of the ocean. The silence settles heavily on my shoulders, and the sweat that was covering my body is replaced by a startlingly piercing cold. I think back on when I first resolved to pursue this. Oh, are we gonna do like the whole let's play the whole game again this time, but from Suo's perspective? All right, buckle up, everybody. Summer had passed by like the clouds slowly drifting across the sky. I had stood before the mirror in my autumn uniform, gazing at my reflection. I smiled, but the smile of the girl in the mirror was distant and awkward, her mind made up. There's no way I can smile. Yes, it was on that day, that night in the chapel, that I received those fateful words from Yatsushiro-senpai. I need you to speak up a little, woman! Deducing that the Council of Nikaya, Yuzuriha Yatsushiro, knew something about the disappearance of Mayuri Kosaka, I begged her. I begged her to tell me where she had gone. But Yatsushiro-senpai told me it was better I not know. So she, like, literally knows. Or at least that's the implication we're running with. At the same time that I despaired, I rejoiced because it proved that she knew the circumstances surrounding Mayuri's disappearance. So I pressed her forcefully. I didn't care what became of me. I just wanted to know what had happened to Mayuri. After some hesitation, Yatsushiro-senpai offered me a deal. In return for giving me the key to solving the mystery, I would have to become the president of the Council of Nikaya. Yatsushiro-senpai seemed shocked when I accepted her terms. Perhaps she had assumed that someone as timid and introverted as me would balk, or if I did accept, I'd take my time about it. But I didn't have the time. I couldn't waste a single minute, a single second. I wanted to see Mayuri again. Spoilers! You pull it off! I spoke a line like some kind of badass heroine from a movie. Checking that the girl in the mirror reflected myself, I adjusted my necktie. Then, bathed in the gentle light of the morning sun, I headed over to the bed to wake the deeply slumbering Rika-san. Oh, we're just gonna recount this whole damn game, like last time. In order to fulfill the terms of Yatsushiro-senpai's deal, I sought out the conditions of taking on the position of president of the Council of Nikaya. As it turns out, even to put myself forward as a candidate, I would have to: 1. Either receive high praise as class president or get excellent grades in the mid and end of term exams. 2. Have the recommendation of 2 or more current members of the council. 3. Have the recommendation of 1 or more faculty members. 4. Attend a discussion panel and win support of 4 or more members of a panel consisting of both council and faculty members. After all of that, I would be qualified to stand as a candidate, and the final decision would come down to votes in an election. As I wasn't class president, I first busied myself with studying for the exams. The vague definition of excellent grades troubled me. So I decided to think about it in the simplest way possible. I'd just have to come out on top in every subject. Easier said than done. Still, without anyone noticing, I quietly devoted myself to my studies in preparation for the end-of-term exams. However, just before Halloween, the shapeshifter of the dorm incident came along, a splash of cold water on my fiery resolve. I deduced the culprit and their motive from the information I heard from my classmates and Yatsushiro-senpai, the scars of my heart reopening. The fear that Yatsushiro-senpai would see right through my silly emotions and that the offenders would be judged. But she took those feelings into consideration and came up with the biggest compromise possible. And thanks to that, Halloween arrived safely as I smiled and laughed with my dear amitié partner. Oh, we're getting a little bit of a look at the makeup session. I just want to make sure you look super extra omega creepy, I'd said to Rika-san, who seemed genuinely concerned. She smiled at me as I continued doing her makeup. Oh, don't worry. It's gonna be a real scream. Rika-san had already done my bloody makeup in preparation for the party that night. I hadn't looked in the mirror, but I was certain that it was plenty good enough. I'm just really touch-starved right now. Anything will do. I felt the same way. I hadn't realized that having your makeup done by someone else would be so relaxing. It really is, by the way. Just one of those things that feels really nice. The same thing as like getting a nice scalp massage and a shampoo can actually just kind of put you to sleep. Her eyes brimmed with friendship as she gazed at me. I'm sure it's just friendship that they're beaming with and not, well, I mean, I guess right now I guess we're just gonna have to consider this a look of eyes brimming with friendship. Yep, the makeup around her eyes had turned out perfectly. Rika-san smiled at me as I mumbled to myself. Girl's got a lot on her plate, so yeah, a little bit of recreation is probably gonna do her some good. I tried not to let it show, but of course my amitié had picked up on it. My nose stung and my eyes prickled hotly at her kindness, but I managed to hold back my tears for the sake of my makeup. Oh. Well, I mean, maybe reel that in a little bit. She murmured, her cheeks flushed, and I told her that we were like them. I don't know that you know what you're saying, Suo, unless you do not understand what's going on with their situation right now. Right! Yeah, yeah, you're just Robin to my Batman. Yes! A partner! Sure. Her cheeks flushed darker as she nodded. I smiled and took a step back to take in the whole costume. No, absolutely not. I primly told her that she wasn't allowed. You'll know how good it is based on the reactions you get. That's exactly what you look like right now, the highest class lady one could ever imagine. Despite it being one of the most famous movies ever, she still had to check with me. I nodded. My grandfather taught me that the point of a Halloween costume was to transform yourself into something terrifying. Rika-san still didn't look too convinced, but I gave her a little push on the back as we set out for the party in the dining hall. After the fun of Halloween, we moved into the thick of autumn. As the leaves turned, so too did my efforts progress. I began my initial preparations for getting the recommendations of 2 or more current members of the Council of Nikaya. I looked into the backgrounds and personalities of the members. While I had the option of using my connection to Komikado-senpai, I was saving that for a last. That's a smart move. That's a smart move. I think that makes you a much stronger candidate. People already knew that I was friends with both Komikado-senpai and Yatsushiro-senpai. I couldn't have received a recommendation from the current president, Yatsushiro-senpai, anyway, but I didn't want people to think that I was a schemer, trading on my friendships with them to get their recommendations. That was the conclusion I came to when I considered that once I was officially a candidate, I would be relying on votes from everyone in the school. A little before plans were made for a hiking event hosted by the cooking club, I used the Sasaki's connections to strengthen my relationship with the second-year students. Then came the wandering Wendigo of the Woods incident. Rumors that an apparition from the 7 Mysteries had appeared in the forest popped up as autumn was drawing to a close around the same time as the choir recital. If talk of the Wendigo blew up too much, we would have ended up in a situation like with Shapeshifter of the dorms. I looked into it for Rika-san's sake, and she was so excited about the choir recital. I arrived at the conclusion that revealing the origins of the rumors wouldn't help anyone. I also concluded that the rumors would probably die down soon, and so I decided to leave it all in Yatsushiro-senpai's hands. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. I thought to myself as I listened to Rika-san singing, and to let the older girl's renditions of Rainbow Magic soothe my ears. Of course, even as I was working to solve the 7 mysteries, I hadn't slacked off in my efforts to become the president of the Council of Nikaya. I was able to place top in all subjects in the end-of-term exams and received recommendations from the current council treasurer and auditor. Then, with Rika-san's help, from a faculty member too. I don't think that she could just say, I'm doing this for Mayuri's sake. Or just so I can find out what happened to Mayuri. I don't know that that's going to go over well with Rika, but I think Rika probably already knows. It wouldn't have been strange for her to ask me, yet Rika-san never did. However,
スオさんが会長を目指すなら、私は副会長になって支えるわ。
casting her doubts aside, she made this declaration to me. After all, that's what amitié partners are for, she said. I was so happy to hear that. I had someone who accepted me completely. It's hard to put into words just how much that meant to me. It's also a very big theme on this particular game. Then, just as I was finishing preparations to put myself forward as a candidate in the elections, like a bolt out of the blue, the news spread that Ringo-san and Yatsushiro-san were dating. The fact that Ringo-san was dating the most popular girl in school drew a certain amount of jealousy from our classmates. Other students who didn't know her so well were more obvious in their envy. In class, Rika-san and I curbed the worst of it, but I'm sure that she was being treated harshly when I wasn't around. Then their relationship crumbled after a painful incident. The Werewolf of the Bell Tower. Ringo-san was attacked by a creature dredged up from old memories. A harsh, unforgivable crime, but also something of a lucky break, if you'll pardon the pun. That was because news of the attack mitigated the envy directed her way. However, it also gave rise to new problems. Narine Komikado confessed to being the werewolf of the bell tower, the culprit behind the crime. Her confession was known only to a few people. The only people present at her trial were the members of the Council of Nikaya and Sister Basquiat. And I had connections with both sides, particularly certain council members. Emotions swirled within me as I finished the panel discussion. Having received official acknowledgement of my candidacy, I confronted Yatsushiro Senpai as she lay in bed. Through our conversation, I came to realize just how much anger was smoldering within me. I'd meant to encourage her, to reason with her gently, but when I stood before her, out of my mouth came words of rebuke. I asked her why, when I was reaching out for help, she wouldn't offer her hand. The words I'd uttered through my tears, as well as those of Erika-san and Ichiko-san, had cheered me up. Once she was back on her feet, Yatsushiro Senpai resolved to deal with the werewolf of the bell tower. Then, no, that's all superfluous. The curtain came down on the werewolf of the bell tower incident, with only myself, Yatsushiro Senpai, and Erika-san knowing the truth. Then, free from fear of the future, I went ahead and made my campaign speech, putting myself forward for the presidency. So are we like creeping closer to understanding like what happened a year ago or getting any kind of answer here? On that pleasant winter morning, I awoke bright and early and forced myself from my warm bed and savored another equally pleasant feeling. My pledges had been approved and I was officially going to be the next president of the Council of Nikaya. Yes, I had taken another step closer to Mayuri. Every time I said her name and the fire quietly smoldering in my heart did a thing. It wasn't nervous, it's just my own wretched emotions. The promised words of succession, upon receiving those, I was able to see the truth. On earth as it is in heaven. Satisfied with the answer I had so desperately sought was right there ahead of me, feeling like I've awoken from an eternal slumber, I let out a long, languid sigh of contentment. The fire in me has cooled. I lie in bed, gazing up at the ceiling. Sup? How you doing? Should I criticize her for leaving the academy without a word to me? Or should I start by telling her everything that's happened since she left? There's too much I want to say. Feeling the cool light of winter against my cheeks, I think of Mayuri Kosaka, the girl with a smile like a sunny spring day. I'm sure that the moment I see that smile, I'll be rendered speechless. The words will die on my lips, killed by the desire to simply feel her in my arms. Yeah, it's a pretty good night, right? That's one of those nights that kind of just sticks with you. I mean, even I can still close my eyes and vividly see the images from that scene. It was really well done. When Mayuri and I had opened ourselves to one another, an undeniable magnetism drew us together. When I lost her, at first I wished I could scrub away all of our memories up to that point. I felt that if it was causing her to suffer, then it would be better if what had occurred between us just disappeared. My heart and my body still want her so much. And I'm sure she too. But yeah, that's a very unpleasant thought, isn't it? Ugh. It's like the fact that you're like, if you put in all of this work and maybe it wasn't what she wanted. If she's already thrown away her feelings and written us off as belonging to the past, as soon as that odious thought strikes, a chill runs through me and it feels like the air around me thins. That is a good point. You are very, very prone to negative feedback loops. I smile sardonically at the realization that even though I haven't yet been reunited with Mayuri, I'm already going through all the emotions in my imagination. Kind of like how when you like someone, your brain starts writing all the scenarios of you together, or you confessing to them and things like that. I can imagine. It's easy to imagine because, hello, been there. Like an idiot. I say the words out loud, then I look at the clock and ask him if he thinks I'm an idiot. The clock is wise. He knows it's better to remain silent. That silence is golden when it comes to this kind of troublesome question. I stare intently at the hands of the clock, willing my own internal clock to sync up with reality. Time to get up. Time to wash my face, do my hair, put on my uniform, and wake Rika-san. The fixed motions of a regular morning. Feeling buoyant, I get out of bed. Just a normal day like any other, I guess. The glow of hope in my heart has made my body light, but things aren't going to be that simple. There's always a new obstacle to overcome, from bumps in the floor that trip me up slightly to cliffs that could send me plummeting down into the abyss. While their depth and height may differ, they're guaranteed to crop up. No, a cliff isn't the right metaphor. It's more like I'm a convenient trash can. That's me. The most relatable quote in the Flowers series. I've finally found it. All kinds of problems get tossed my way. And the most recent of them is that Yatsushiro-senpai refuses to tell me the words of succession that will be the key to getting Mayuri back. She must have some reason. She's not a bad person. I know that, and yet I can't help but look at her with anger in my eyes. Even when she's chatting amiably with the Sasakis in the cooking club, I turned a reproachful gaze on her. I was all mixed up, not knowing what to do when my amitié partner, Rika Hanabishi, spelled it out for me. As I was agonizing over it, she told me, those words were like the music of angels to my ears. Had something changed with her? Had the cogs inside her mind turned or been replaced entirely? Unable to stop myself, I hugged Rika-san and counted down the days to Christmas. And now it's arrived. The day my fate will change.
そうか。そうか。
At first, her voice is just noise to me, like the rumble of distant thunder. But then, the sight of Yatsushiro-senpai, her figure indistinct, like I'm looking at her through a goldfish bowl, brings me back to the present. I've received the key that will bring me to Mayuri. I can feel sweat clinging to my body. Yatsushiro-senpai puts a hand on my cold, clammy forehead.
ひどい顔色だ。
Yeah, but you've just given us a lot to work with here. With a hand on the small of my back, she ushers me toward her desk, but I shake my head.
構いません。もう一つの鍵の話。
Yeah, let's go.
しかし、
Bowing my head, I plead with her again. The nausea still hasn't subsided, but I can't lose this chance. After staring intently into my face for a moment, she relents.
僕が君へ与える選別だが、以前聖堂で君が挙げた疑問、
She touches the back of her head.
温室で怪我をしたのを本当に事故だったのかを尋ねた問いだが、
It wasn't an accident.
君の
Okay.
推測通り、
I mean, we've kind of suspected that, but now she's being just straight up with us. Yo, something went down.
それは誰に襲われたのですか？
Give me a name. Give me a name.
僕の口からは
What? What? Why? I bite down on my lip. She's dodging my questions again. With a cynical smile, Yatsushiro-senpai turns to her desk, pulls out a notebook, and runs her pen across the page. Still fighting back nausea, I watch her in silence.
犯人の名を口にすることはできないが、
Can't say the name out loud, but the tulpa of agape,
通じる。
the other key leading to Mayuri Kosaka. Tearing out the page from the notebook, she hands it to me.
ここにある。
It's here. What she's written on the paper isn't any profound statement, nor the name of the culprit. Written here is... What? No, you can't. No, you're not. Okay, we're going to another scene, but you are not... You can't cut me off like this. I know there's like none of this game left, but you gotta give me something to work with here. The name of a place? And we are like trudging through the snow-covered forest now. Pushing aside my impatience, I wait for Christmas Eve to pass. The place written on the note isn't within easy walking distance. It's not close enough for me to slip out of the dining hall where we were celebrating after Mass. After a night where I don't sleep a wink, I run through my usual morning routine, go to class, and deal with any issues that have occurred at Iznik. Then, at last, I set off for the place former President Yuzuriha Yatsushiro gave me.
このまままだまっすぐよね。
So I'm assuming that Narine and Yuzuriha are gone at this point. Like, they took off. Like, they just left. That's what I'm assuming. Snow has obscured the landscape. Squinting down at the note, I trudge on through the forest, unfamiliar in its white coat, without stopping. A breeze caresses my bare neck and makes the paper flutter in my hand. Rubbing my throat, I hurry onward. Where are we going? A sudden chill on my cheek makes me look up. Snow has started to swirl down the leaden sky like ephemeral petals. Nothing in my brain suggests I should turn back before it becomes a real blizzard. I'm spurred ever onward by the need to check this place out for myself. However, to be honest, I'm only half convinced I'll find it. I have my doubts as to whether this place that supposedly holds the key actually exists. But despite my uncertainties, when I arrive at the specified location, it's there, run down, dilapidated, But the ruined chapel is there just as she ruined chapel. It's quite far removed from the academy, causing more questions to arise. Why here? Screwing up my eyes through the thickening snow, I examine the chapel. Was the chapel that currently stands beside the academy built after this one collapsed for some reason? Can I get a look at this place? I've looked through the almanacs of St. Angraecum Academy, but the school has always stood in the same spot. So why would a chapel be built so far away from it? Oh god, are we getting into some like weird sacrificial stuff or something? Like, when you were talking about like darkness that sits at the heart of a St. Angraecum, how dark are we talking? A chapel that didn't see regular use? An inspection of the ruins suggests to me that the cause of its collapse was fire. So there was a fire at like a different chapel on like this property. Areas of the crumbling plaster walls are blackened with soot. It's covered up with snow, but I can still tell that it didn't happen recently. It feels like it burned down. It feels like it burned years, no, decades ago. A burned down chapel. Sure, it's given me questions that could provide stepping stones for me, but how is this a key? Yeah, like I don't really feel, I'm not like feeling like any grand revelation here. The snowstorm raging harder, the wind roaring in my ears, interfering with my concentration. Ignoring the noise as best I can, I narrow my eyes to stare at the ruins through the falling snow. What happened here? Why is there no mention of this chapel in the Academy's almanacs? I rub the frozen tip of my nose with my finger. My eyes fall on the notes still clutched in my hand. There's a circle drawn around the words chapel ruins, but what catches my attention now is the check mark that sits outside the circle. The circle around the words emphasizes them, and I thought that the check mark was just to provide further emphasis, but raising my arm across my face to shield myself from the blizzard, I set off to search the area around the ruins. The snowstorm rages harder, as though trying to prevent me from reaching the place I seek. The weather is so wild, it's going to be quite a hindrance when I set off back to the school. But it's like a fever has gripped me and I can't stop in my search. Even as the wind whips my hair around, I struggle through the drifts of snow towards the rear of the ruins. Then, a conspicuous tree catches my eye. Of course, the forest is full of trees, but something about this one stands out. It's a different species. A Japanese red elder. I can identify it thanks to my grandfather, whose hobby was horticulture. Standing alone, it immediately drew my attention, but it's also the only tree of its type around. Then, hidden under the tree, something solid hulks beneath the snowdrifts. What? Excuse me? At first I thought it was just a piece of rubble from the ruins, but as I stare at the blanket of snow, I see that the elderberry tree is covering a gravestone in the shape of a cross, and I instinctively know that this gravestone, this is the key Yatsushiro Senpai had wanted to give me. With shaking hands, I brush away the snow. What is happening, dude? What? What? There, beneath the powdery layer of snow, Roman letters are carved into the stone. Narrowing my eyes against the icy blasts of wind, I read them over and over, but no matter how many times I read the name, it stays the same. As I wrestle with the truth laid out before me, I read the inscription on the gravestone aloud. Oh God, don't, like, oh, my insides are all twisted up. Just press the button, just press the button. What? Dude, what? Basquiat. Oh. The tale progresses to the final season. Flowers, le volume, sir. I don't know how to say that one. Why did I say it out loud if I didn't know how to say it? You look like a dummy now. Those silhouettes were pretty telling, though. Oh, jeez, dude, what? That's it? So, what? But, well? Okay, so... Need to have a word with Dahlia, because that's... Oh my God, what? How is that? How does that tie to Mayuri's disappearance? The Tulpa of a... All right, gamers, we have a lot to think about now. What? I'm just... Okay, I'm having a moment. All right, okay, that's a hell of a cliffhanger, though. Jeez. All right, we've got. While we let this digest, we got a few more things we can come in and have a look. We can look at the comics now. Let's have a look at some comics to to get that out of our system. Black Nerine, what? Since you want a Damien, does that mean you'll do anything I ask? It'd be my pleasure. Oh, it's up here. Then, oh my God. So cute. I'd do anything for you. Then eat this apple. That's messed up. This is a real good. It's a real good Yuzu face, though. Holy crap. That's the boob gap. Your boobs really are huge. No, they're not. I'm only a C cup. Screw you. By the way, did you know that there's a two-size difference when converting bra sizes between us and Japan? When in the US and Japan? Oh, if I lost 2 cup sizes, I'd have nothing left. Rip. Wandering Hookman. Strolling through the woods is so nice, isn't it though? What's that? An animal? What if it's the Wendigo? Don't be fearful, scare it away! Grrr! And pheromones. The rabbits have escaped! I forgot to lock the hutch. This situation calls for pheromones to attract animals. We got it, don't you worry. This time it's Reach-on who's lost. Leave it to me! And you're gonna grab Suo. Boom. All right, those were cute. Okay. So that does seem to be everything. Yep. All right. So, with that, we've put the cap on another edition of Flowers. Look at us go. So, that's gonna wrap things up for us for now. Again, I think this one might end up being my favorite, but man, that's like 8-Day was still really strong. Like I don't know how this is gonna land. Again, it's just the strength of Yuzu as a character and the incredibly good job that this game does of sort of digging into her and like what makes her the way she is and who she is and the way they tell that story, the way it ends up, and also the way that kind of like crosses with the twins. Like I think everybody just got a lot of really, really important growth out of this volume. We've got a very that ending. I don't even know. I can't even imagine what's going through Suo's mind right now. That's crazy. Why is there a Basquiat grave back there? What is the Tulpa of Agape? I don't want to look it up because I feel like that's a very specific thing and that'll ruin the surprise, but I can only guess that all of this stuff is going to draw to a close at some point. When we finally get around to the final volume, it's probably going to be, I don't know, I'm going to say probably September-ish when I start uploading videos for that one. I will probably start playing it and recording it in like late August or so, but that might go up in like September-ish at the start, somewhere around there. We'll see. I'm not entirely sure. I said the last time that I was gonna like take a small break, and I think we came in at like maybe just over like a month and a half in starting this one because I just kind of started it at random. I didn't really like I didn't really plan on doing this one when I did it. I just started doing it on a whim one night, and then we finally arrived here. But yeah, I would say sometime in August or September is when we will jump into the final volume to find out what all of that was. So, if you joined me for this journey, I hope that you had a great time. I hope that if you were a fan of the series, that I've me and my dumbass commentary have somehow represented the game in a way that was entertaining and fun for you. I am certainly enjoyed this. I am continuing to enjoy this all the way through, and I don't really see that changing for the final volume. So if you join me for this, hope you had a good time. And of course, I always hope that you have a nice rest of your whatever, wherever you are, and hope you find something else to maybe tide you over here on the channel, you know, while we're waiting for that next volume to start going. But I guess that's gonna do it for now. So until next time, you have a great one, and we'll see you then. Bye. Man, that was weird. Okay, I don't even know why I started doing like the vocal